You guys said, oh, you can't beat someone, you can't beat a striker, you can't beat a legend like Anderson Silva. I just did it.
Jake Paul has done it again. He's undefeated, 6-0, beat Anderson Silva, but the world's still talking. Was the fight fixed? Does he still need to fight a real boxer? There's still a lot of complaints, but I'm going to tell you why it's time to leave Jake Paul alone. Go out and touch some grass, because y'all complaining about this is getting out of hand. But let's break it down right here on Fighting Words with me, Andreas Hale. All right, so Jake Paul won a unanimous decision against Anderson Silva. For the record, I didn't score the fight for Jake Paul. I scored it for Anderson Silva. And I wasn't a big fan of the scorecards that read 78-73 for Jake Paul, which was 2 of them, and one of them that had it 77-74 for Jake Paul. I don't agree with the scores. However, it wasn't a robbery. And with that being said, I don't think the fight was fixed. It was a very close fight. Anderson Silva and Jake Paul kind of had a stalemate in the first 3 rounds. Anderson had some of the middle rounds. And then that late knockdown kind of sealed the deal. Kind of. Not really. Kind of. But I'm going to explain that in a second. But first and foremost, just because you don't like a scorecard doesn't mean the fight was fixed. You can go back and watch that fight 100 times. You might come up with different scores. Or you could have never liked Jake Paul and you were never going to score the fight for him. Listen, the fight was very close. And I tweeted during the fight that no matter whether he wins or loses, we got to kind of respect him. He's showing a lot of improvement as a fighter. He's much different than the guy that fought Anison Gibb. He's fighting a legend. Yeah, Anderson Silva's 47 years old, but Anderson Silva beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who is the former WBC middleweight champion of the world. What does that mean? That Jake Paul is getting better, and it's only his 6th fight. But those of you who say the fight is fixed and look at the scorecards, it's kind of ridiculous. It was a very close fight. But let's look at the next talking point that has people up in arms. The knockdown in the 8th round. Look, the 8th round knockdown was a surprise to many. Anderson Silva tried to mix it up with Jake, knowing the fight was hanging in the balance. Jake caught him with the right hand, down goes Silva. He got back up, and the fight was competitive. You could even argue that Silva may have won that round if he didn't get knocked down. But then I saw these weird conspiracy theorists posting a doctored video of the punch not connecting. I was there. Jake Paul hit Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva went down. He got back up. Nothing more to it. But furthermore, the most important thing is, if you look at the scorecards, that knockdown didn't save Jake Paul. He was already winning that fight. So, was the fight fixed? No, I need you guys to stop it. Every time that there's a scorecard that you don't like, you don't have to say it was a robbery or the fight was fixed. It was close. We've seen egregiously bad scorecards in boxing. It happens a lot, but they're not all robberies. Sometimes the perspective is different. Sometimes the rounds are just really close and can go either way. If you've never been a judge or you've never been ringside at a fight to know that wherever you're sitting, you might see it a different way, then you don't understand boxing. But y'all gotta leave Jake Paul alone, man. He didn't fix this fight. He won, and he beat Anderson Silva. Now, let's go to the next point. The next complaint has now been he still hasn't fought a pro boxer. I agree to a degree because it's only 6 pro fights in. I get it. He fought a basketball player, a YouTuber, an MMA fighter who wrestled, an MMA fighter who's not really known for his striking, and a 47-year-old MMA fighter. Listen, guys, I get it. But I want you guys to go to the wonderful land of BoxRec right now. Come with me. Come with me to BoxRec, BoxRec.com. And you can look up these very cool details. I'm going to pull this up. Let's talk about some of your favorite fighters and who they fought in their 6th fight. And let's figure this out. What about the legendary Julio Cesar Chavez, not Jr., Caesar, who had a remarkable winning streak, is recognized one of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time. All right, so for his 6th fight, he fought a guy named Miguel Cebrero. Cebrero was 0-0 when he fought Chavez, meaning he had no pro fights. And he lost. Guess what? He never fought again. So this man retired with an 0-1 record. Pro boxers, guys? Really? All right, how about Manny Pacquiao? Yeah, the great Manny Pacquiao. He's fought everybody, right? He's fought Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather. He's fought Antonio Margarito, Miguel Cotto. But for his 6th pro fight, he fought Amon Rosil, who had a record of 8-19 with 4 draws. Damn. And then he ended his boxing career with a record of 11-37-5. So what the hell are we really talking about when you say he's got to fight a pro boxer. What you're trying to say is you want him to fight somebody really good so you can see him lose. And I get it. Listen, I'm not telling you to love Jake Paul the person. That's not what we're talking about here. But we have to respect what that man has done in the boxing ring. Furthermore, what he's doing for the MMA community. Because every MMA fighter he's fought has said it's the largest payday of their careers. Something that didn't happen in the UFC. This Jake Paul versus UFC thing in fighter pay is very interesting, depending on which side you're on. But if you want to see fighters get paid, you can't really be mad at Jake Paul for paying them and then making a bet with Anderson Silva to start a fighters union to help MMA fighters, not just UFC fighters, get paid. You got to respect it. But all that is to say, leave Jake Paul alone. The man has 6 pro fights. His next pro fight could be Tommy Fury, who is a pro boxer. Could be KSI, who fought 2 pro boxers on the same night and knocked him out. They were trash. Did y'all see them? They were awful. We got to be very selective about what we call a pro boxer and what we don't. But all we do know is Jake Paul's bringing some eyeballs to the sport. You don't got to like him. You don't have to love him. You just got to respect what he's done in the boxing ring and putting the spotlight on certain things like Amanda Serrano, because without Jake Paul, Amanda Serrano wouldn't have fought Katie Taylor. Again, you don't got to love him. He's only 25 years old. He's been a bit of a douchebag at times, but what he's doing in the sport cannot be denied. So stop the fight fixing nonsense. Stop the he's got to fight a pro boxer nonsense, because your favorite pro fighters fought a bunch of bums as well. Literal cab drivers, people who bagged groceries. They weren't pro fighters. They may have went and trained and put on some gloves in a boxing ring, but it doesn't make you good. Yeah, he beat a 47-year-old, but he's talking about taking the next step. Whether that's Tommy Fury, whether that's KSI, whether that's Hakeem Rodman, whether it's Nate Diaz, who is also not a pro boxer, guys, but I bet you everybody's going to watch that fight. We just got to pipe down on the Jake Paul nonsense. Stop making things up. Boxing has enough issues as it is. But what Jake Paul is doing is kind of fun. And if you don't like it, you know what you can do? Turn the damn TV off. Stop complaining. Complain about things that actually matter in boxing, like Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford not happening, or Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua not happening. But saying that Jake Paul is fixing fights for what? He's getting punched in the face for real, and Silva got punched in the face for real. Cut it out, guys. Leave Jake Paul alone, or just change the channel. But I want to hear what you guys got to say. Go right down there in the comments and tell me, am I losing my mind? Am I giving Jake Paul a little bit too much respect as a boxer? Or am I right? Do we need to cut out the fight fixing nonsense or the fight a pro fighter nonsense? I don't know. But leave your comments. Make sure you subscribe, because next week, find something else to talk about. I'm done talking about Jake Paul. 2022, we've had enough Jake Paul. We can talk about something else next week. But until then, we're out. Peace.